just really helped accelerate our culture. And once we rolled it out, it was a little weird, I would say, for maybe the first 4 weeks or so. But then when people saw we were actually serious about committing to them, and when they saw there were people that were leading the company purely because of core values, not having their personal values match the corporate core values, employees really got on board, and it's really been I would say our most powerful asset that we have at the company. So I'll make this available so you don't have to read through all this, but really I'm including some stories from other companies that actually are completely different from Zappos, because the reaction we get sometimes are, okay, I understand culture is important, but you're an internet company, so you live by special rules. Well, we actually had a company, and some of the stories in there are from companies like the Atlanta Refrigeration Company, where they came and visited Zappos in July. And we offer this program called Zappos Insights. It's actually a completely separate website. If you go to zapposinsights.com, there's all sorts of different options there. Anything from like a monthly subscription service, video subscription service, where you can ask questions and then we'll get the right person from Zappos to answer that question on the video, to 2-day seminars where we help other companies figure out their own core values and how to build their own strong cultures. And so we had this company, the Atlanta Refrigeration Company, that came last July, and then they went through the 2-day thing, and then they sent back more people for the next time we offered that, and then they, their culture wasn't that great, and then they talked about how in a relatively short period of time, it went from not having that great a culture, and the founder and CEO was talking about how, like he was starting to get that like dreading getting out of bed feeling, to 6 or 9 months later, like employees are much happier, and you can see the before and after pictures. And what they do is completely different from, you can't think of a more opposite company from Zappos in terms of appearances, because they go out and do refrigeration repairs, and they have people out in the field. And so completely different type of company, and yet they were able to really focus on culture and customer service. And they're reporting back that their revenues are up, their profits are up, employees are happy, customers are happy. So it's not something that's just reserved for insurance companies. And another one of the stories in there is about this bar in Austin where they actually did the same thing. They focused on making employees and customers happy and really focused on culture, and were able to now become one of the top performing bars in the Austin, Texas area. So going back to Good to Great and tribal leadership, as I said, there were 2 important elements that they found with their research that separated the great companies in terms of long-term financial performance from just the good ones. And the second thing they found, the first one was the great companies all had strong cultures. The second thing was that all the great companies had this vision of something that was a higher purpose, that had meaning, that wasn't just about being number 1 in market or profits or revenue. And so when I speak at entrepreneur conferences, a lot of times I get asked by entrepreneurs, oh, what's a good market to go into where I can make a lot of money? And that's actually, my response is, that's actually kind of the wrong way to look at it. Instead of thinking of money being the primary goal, think about what would you be so passionate about doing that you'd be happy doing it for 10 years, even if you never made a dime. And that's what you should be doing. And kind of the ironic thing is the money will actually follow. So think of Craigslist, for example. Craig didn't create Craigslist as a money-making idea. He was just passionate about the community, and now it's one of the top traffic websites on the internet. So I like to say, chase the vision, not the money, and ironically, the money will follow. There was a movie called Notorious that came out a few years ago, and I think it lasted in the theater 1 week. But in it, Puff Daddy says to Biggie Smalls, also known as Notorious B.I.G., don't chase the paper, chase the dream. I just want an excuse to put this picture up here. So if you're an entrepreneur, you think about what would you be so passionate about doing that you'd be happy doing it for 10 years, even if you never made any money from it. And if you have employees, think about what's the larger vision and greater purpose in their work beyond just money or profits. Because what the research has shown is if you can figure that out and you actually believe in it as well, then that actually leads, ironically, to better long-term financial performance. There's a lot of books and consultants that talk about how to motivate employees, and there's lots of ways to do it, and they work to a certain extent. You can motivate employees through recognition. You can motivate them through incentives. A lot of companies motivate employees through fear. But there's a big difference. Our belief is that there's a big difference between motivation and inspiration. And if you can inspire employees with a vision that has a higher purpose beyond just money or profits or being number one in the market, if you can inspire your employees with a set of core values that match their own personal values, then you don't really need to worry about the motivation part of it. And you can accomplish so much more by just focusing on the inspiration part of it. So this is an example of, this is actually how we thought of our brand in terms of evolving it over the years. And so in 1999, we didn't really have that higher purpose vision. Our vision was, let's just sell a lot of shoes. Let's just be the market leader in selling shoes online. And in 2003, 4 years into it, we kind of sat around one day and asked ourselves, what do we want to be when we grow up? Do we want to be about shoes, or do we want to be about something bigger and more meaningful? And once we decided we wanted to build our brand to be about the very best customer service, the funny thing happened that we didn't even anticipate. We found that employees were suddenly a lot more engaged and passionate about the company. And when customers called, they could sense that the person on the other end of the line wasn't there just for a 9-to-5 job and for a paycheck. And then when vendors came to visit the office, they could have that passion rubbed off of them, and they wanted to stay longer and come visit our offices more often. And all of these things had this multiplicative, cumulative snowball effect that really accelerated our growth over the years. In 2005, we kind of took a step back, and company culture had always been important. But in 2005, we decided, actually, let's make company culture our #1 priority. Because if we get that right, then the customer service will just be a natural byproduct of that, and so will our brand. And so that's when we rolled out our core values. In 2007, we kind of asked ourselves, okay, what kind of customer service do we want to deliver? Because there's companies like Amazon, for example, that their idea of great customer experience in general is let's do it through technology and try to lower costs and make it more convenient and have lower prices. Whereas for us, we decided, instead of taking the high-tech approach, let's take the high-touch approach and really do this one phone call at a time, one interaction at a time, and really try to develop a personal, emotional connection with our customers. And then last year, we kind of took a step back and realized, we've been trying to make customers happy, and we've been trying to make employees happy. Really, the bigger vision that ties all of this together is that we're really just about delivering happiness. So we wanted to tell another pizza story. And this actually happened a few years ago in Santa Monica, California. I was speaking at a Skechers sales conference. Skechers is one of the brands that we work with. And it was a long day, and at the end of the day, a bunch of us decided to go bar hopping together. And I'd never gone bar hopping in the Santa Monica area before. So I think there were 3 people from Skechers and 3 of us from Zappos. And we went to the first bar, and it had been a long day, ordered a round of drinks, and then someone ordered a round of shots. So we drank the drinks and took the shots, and then went to the second bar, and someone else ordered a round of drinks, and someone else ordered another round of shots to pay back for the first round of drinks and the first round of shots. And so we drank it because you can't waste alcohol. And then we went to the third bar, and I'm actually not sure how many drinks or shots we had at that point, from that point on, but what I do remember is that when last call was 2 a.m. in California, and at some point after going from bar to bar, the lights went on, they stopped serving alcohol, and we had to start walking back to our hotel room. Well, one of the girls from Skechers, as we were starting walking, was talking about this. She could not wait to get back to the hotel room and order a room service, and she was going to order this pepperoni pizza that she had seen on the room service menu. She was so excited, and she could almost smell it because she was thinking about it. And it was on page 17 of the room service menu, like the second item. And she asked if we wanted to go in on it. We're like, sure, yeah, we'll get some pizza together. That sounds good because we've been drinking for a while.